Seidman, and I'm a senior advisor at the Regulatory Assistance Project and a former air quality regulator. At RAP, we work on policies to make home energy uses cleaner, and one of the urgent reasons to do so is to improve air quality. My colleague John Chenot and I started thinking about ways to lower emissions from home energy uses, where one of the significant sources is water heaters.
We believe limiting the emissions of nitrogen oxides, or NOx, will improve air quality and drive adoption of more energy efficient water heaters, especially electric heat pump models. And as our nation's electricity grid continues to get cleaner, that could pay major dividends for air quality. Why do we choose to focus on nitrogen oxides? It's what's known as a criteria pollutant, one of a group of pollutants regulated under the Clean Air Act, and controlling it could help us attain a variety of Clean Air Act objectives that remain elusive. NOx contributes to a host of environmental hazards: summer smog, reduced visibility in our national parks, and eutrophication of water bodies, which harms fish from excessive nutrients in bodies of water like the Chesapeake Bay. Nitrogen oxides also contribute to fine particle pollution that leads to premature mortality of around 100,000 Americans each year. And why water heaters? Well, every household needs one, so there is transformative potential in putting stringent limits on these appliances. We know that gas appliances, including water heaters, emit almost twice as much NOx as gas power plants in the United States, and that's despite burning less gas. We also know that state, local, and federal agencies have clear authority to regulate nitrogen oxides from various sources. And in a couple of notable examples from across the United States, local or state air quality agencies in states that span the political spectrum already regulate NOx from gas-fired water heaters. So we decided to propose a model rule that would help regulators take the next step, using existing rules and improving upon their current static rules by creating a dynamic standard that changes over time. The rule would create a limit for nitrogen oxide emissions from gas, propane, and oil-fired water heaters. The model creates a schedule where the emissions get tighter over time to signal to manufacturers the need to virtually eliminate NOx emissions. Alternatively, the standards could be tied to the electric grid emissions. Then, as the grid gets cleaner, our model rule standard would in turn get more stringent. Over time, fossil-fueled appliances will eventually not be able to meet the standards and be replaced with electric options. How would this work? Our model rule design begins by considering the different types of water heaters currently on the market and grouping them into categories. We then need a mechanism to drive down emissions over time without the need for a revised rule. We propose two ways of doing this. One would set a schedule by which the limits are reduced at intervals of years. The other method would be to use a formula in which the initial emissions limit would be based on current standards and then lowered over time to track the rate of change in power sector NOx emissions. Crucial considerations in our model are equity and affordability. States offering assistance for new water heaters through their energy efficiency programs would need to ensure that they are considering not just the cost of installation, but the lifetime cost of running the appliance. The rule might also need to be written to accommodate housing types where electric heat pump models cannot be installed. Water heater manufacturers would need to demonstrate via independent testing that their products meet the emissions limits. And again, we have an existing example of this process in air districts in California. Also, we view manufacturer input as key to designing rules that work. So how can this model rule transform the market for lower emissions water heating? Between 7 and 8 million water heaters are installed in the United States every year. Over time, with an increasingly stringent NOx limit, more and more of those water heaters would be high efficiency electric heat pump models. Economies of scale would drive down the cost of manufacturing and installing those new models, and they would be powered by renewable energy that is likewise continually getting less expensive. A separate but similar rulemaking could be adapted over time to cover space heating appliances, transforming more of the appliance market. And the result? Crucial movement toward achieving our air quality and climate goals using existing cost-effective technologies without the need for new legislation.